Good morning. Today we're at Gallery MX, located at 333 Rue Viger West, and today I'm with John David Hickey, the Storyteller. How are you?
I'm great, thanks.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good. So, what's a storyteller exactly?
A storyteller is a performer who tells traditional stories or personal stories.
Okay.
It's a narrative type of performance.
Okay.
Stories can go anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes to half an hour to 60 minutes, whatever.
Okay.
And they're always, it can be stuff that you've experienced or stories from other cultures.
Okay. And you do like folk tales, fables.
Yeah, legends, ghost stories.
Okay.
It's usually, I don't usually tell personal stories myself, but
Okay.
it's always a story about a guy who goes off to save the princess or fight the giants or things like that.
Okay. Now you have two CDs. Talk about your two CDs, please.
The first CD was published in 2005 called
Yes.
You Don't Know Jack.
Okay.
It's a collection of Jack tales, like the most famous being Jack and the Beanstalk.
Okay.
But these are other Jack tales. There's
Okay.
a whole genre. It was a show that I did in the Montreal Fringe Festival with another storyteller named Dylan Spivak Wilcock.
Okay.
We did the show in the Fringe, and then we took the show and brought it into the studio and recorded a CD, and we also wrote all the stories out. So it's a book CD.
Wow.
So that's our first publication. And in 2010, I published another CD, just a CD, called The Bard's New Hat.
Okay.
And it's a collection of recordings from the 2 previous years of me doing shows at festivals, schools, and cafes.
Okay, cool. And what inspires your stories, and where do you get your ideas from?
Well, what inspires the types of stories that I like are always like underdog stories.
Okay.
It's always the youngest son of 3, or the prince with a simple, innocent way. It somehow carries the day and saves and figures out the riddles and things like that. So I also I love ghost stories. I love mystical stories, things like that.
Okay. And I guess like musical writers, I guess you go through writer's block also?
It's more like reader's block.
Reader's block, okay.
I have a huge collection of stories, of books, of collections of folktales.
Okay.
And it's not just the stories I like. I have to find a story that moves me.
Okay.
And once I find one that moves me, then I can feel that I can tell it to move others. But I can go through reams and reams of pages of trying to find a story that really, really speaks to me.
Stay tuned, because later on in the show, John speaks to us about his Story Slam series and his band, Tailstruck. Nous sommes toujours aux Galeries MX, située au 333 Rue Viger West, and I'm here with the storyteller John. And it's very interesting because you also compete, and you won in Once Upon a Slam in Ottawa.
Right. The Once Upon a Slam is a storytelling competition in Ottawa run by Ruth Ann Edward.
Okay.
She's been running it for a few years now, and I participated in it at the Ottawa Storytelling Festival a few years ago, and I won the slam that night.
Wow. Okay.
And then all the people who won that year came back in June to compete against each other.
Okay.
And I won it in I won it in 2010, I believe.
Yes.
Or 2011 I won it the first time.
Okay.
And then I came back the following year and I won it again.
Okay.
In the second year.
So how do you prepare differently for a competition than when you can perform in front of people?
In a competition, you have to make sure that it fits the 5-minute limit.
Okay.
Each performance 5 minutes. If you go over 5 minutes, you start to lose points.
Okay.
So it's a question of being able to find a story that fits the 5 minutes and then make sure it doesn't go over, right?
Okay. Now you also organize a slam series, right?
Right. After I did the Once Upon a Slam in Ottawa,
Yes.
I was so inspired that I decided to take the slam and bring it to Montreal.
Okay.
And my slam is called Slamtastique.
Okay.
It's a bilingual storytelling competition. Anyone can show up and tell a story. It's a 5-minute limit. You're not allowed to have props or music instruments or special costumes. You just get up and tell a story. It can be personal stories, it can be true, it can be made up, it can be whatever. It can be anything you like, as long as it tells a story. Even music would be, even like a singing would be allowed as long as it tells a story. And we've had people who've never told stories. We've had storytellers. We've had spoken word artists. We've had slam poets come. It's been a great show. really great.
And you're also in a band called Tailstrom.
Right. Tailstrom is a project I started a few years ago with another musician named Shane Grin.
Yes.
And so Shane plays guitar. He also plays banjo or mandolin. He knows a lot of different instruments.
Okay.
And while I'm telling the story, he will play instrumental music in the background. And I find that it adds an extra dimension to the stories.
Okay. So if people want to get more information about who you are and what you do in your series, let them know your website, please.
They can go to my website, johndavidhickey.ca.
Okay.
I've got links to the story slams. I also have a storytelling blog
Okay.
where you can go listen to recordings I've done called Shortening the Road, but you can get to it from my website.
All the best, eh?
Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you.